Loves, welcome back to Kara's Love Techniques. I am Coach Kara, and so we are here today with another dating and relationship topic. So, this video in particular is for the males out there, and yes, your whole role in the dating and relationship experience. So, I wanted to talk about some concerns that I've been seeing as of, well, actually for a while now, in regards to the male role in dating and relationships and how it's beginning to diminish somehow. Yeah, so I want to talk about that today. And so we're going to talk about three of those concerns that we can kind of work on so that things can get back to where they used to be. Okay? All right, so firstly, I want to talk about the initial interaction with dating. So I watch a few of reality dating shows like Ready to Love. And what I've been observing and have assessed is that, wow, your dating skills and dating tactics granted, most of you are courageous in doing so, but you're not doing them properly. And it's causing you to have like poor outcomes. The outcome isn't the way you need it to be based on how you initially interacted. Okay. And I know recently I made a last video for you guys about how you can't engage the same way that you do for each individual. Okay. But we're going to talk more about that. So firstly, the initial interaction is so important, guys. It really is. And most of you miss that opportunity to be precise in that area. For instance, some years back when I was working and I went on my lunch and I went to the 7-Eleven to get whatever. And I walk in and there's this group of guys on their break as well. And one guy, he begins to approach me. Now, mind you, it's that time of the month. I'm just not in the mood. The answer was already no, even regardless that he was married, he was wearing a wedding band. But he began to engage with me. And instead of him just reading my expression, he just began to go on and ask questions or whatever. So I didn't want to tell him to get the hell out of my way so I can go and grab that last salad in front of his coworkers who were actually in earshot. But when he asked me for my number, hey, can I have your number? I'm like, yeah, sure. And so I gave him a number. Actually, it was a new number that I thought I memorized to the point where I could change the last digit. And, it kind of backfired on me, but he ended up calling me. It didn't matter, block. But see, despite the fact that he was courageous enough to approach me, he didn't read me. You know how you walk into a room or a club, you kind of read the room and assess and just kind of feel the vibe. He didn't do any of that. Had he done that, he would have seen in my expression, like, can you move so I can go and grab that salad? He didn't do that. Secondly, which is the most important thing, is it is so imperative that when you're trying to do a number exchange, that it works for the both of you. Instead of asking me for my number, which put him in that position of getting blocked, he gave me that power, right? See, he lost his power initially because he didn't read me. Otherwise, he could have just like, you seem like you're busy. I'll let you go. He didn't do that. That was fail number one. Number two is by asking someone for their number, it actually puts you in a place where now you're waiting for them. Okay, so here's how that should have gone. Oh, you seem like you're in a hurry. You seem like you're cool, yada, 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 whatever you guys do. Can we exchange phone numbers? And see, the reason why you want to take this approach is because, it allows you to assess the person and see if they're equally interested. Now, either that person is going to say, oh, yeah, sure, here's my number. Call me. Because see, if you call me, I'll call you so you can have my number. That just eliminate the whole shenanigan, process, whatever. Wrong numbers, all that. That's on him. Secondly, it allows you to see what this person's interest level is. So they're either going to go ahead and exchange the numbers or just simply state, how about you give me your number? Now with that, you can kind of assess from this individual, they're cautious, maybe a little serious, have had some bad experiences. So you can kind of just like chalk it up to you're going to have a 15% chance of getting a call from this person. This way you're not sitting around waiting and wondering. But when you allow someone to give you their number, you just put all that, you just gave all your power to them, because now they can pick and choose of when they want to call you or answer your phone and everything. Okay, which leads me to number 2. So now that we've gotten the initial interaction right, you want to make sure it goes both ways. And secondly, you guys are allowing your ego to lead. We have to stop doing that. What I've noticed is a pattern with men allowing the other person to chase them, to come after them. So it's kind of like you guys do this whole bait and switch tactic, which works for some, for very few, I should say. It works because now that you've reeled them in, you kind of like fall back and you wait for them to contact you, text you, whatever, initiate all communication. So after a few interactions, your actions become reactions. So they text you, you reply back at your own leisure. And if they say, hey, you want to go do this, you want to go check out that, it's everything with them initiating is what I'm beginning to see. And by doing so, you are relinquishing your power. You're not keeping it in a place to where it gives you some leverage. Okay. And it may not make sense right now, but I've had this happen. Listen, like that guy, I peeped his game in like 3 seconds. I read him instantly and I already knew what he was going to say and do. And you guys are just like falling back, just letting the other person take the lead. And then when that other person begins to realize that, hey, why am I the only one who's always initiating communication or making a suggestion? Why is it beginning to, especially when you speak with their friends and their coworkers, why is this beginning to now seem one-sided? And then when they begin to realize that, well, it kind of just sum up to you're on some game, like you're not serious, and you do this all the time. It's your MO. And then you just gave them the power to cut you off. So what are you going to do? Are you going to reach out to them? I mean, it'll be so apparent that you haven't in like over a week. They've been initiating everything, so it's going to stick out like a red flag. And then they don't have to answer you. So my point is that you want to keep everything like flowing. Initiate. With males, you're losing your masculinity. You're not initiating. You're not taking that leader approach. I mean, just a little. You're not showing your bravado or your machoism. You're not being assertive as you know you could be for whatever reason. And so what that looks like to the opposite person is that, okay, perhaps this person is insecure or lacks confidence or has past hurts, and they maneuver this way, which leads me to number 3. You keep everything surface-based. It's so shallow. You're not allowing the situation to get below the surface. There's no depth. And that's where it gets tricky. And granted, you're trying to be careful and you're trying to stay in this safe place because you don't want to encounter any negativity or any negative emotions. But you're basically setting yourself up for failure, especially those of you who are dating with a purpose or with intent for something more. You're setting yourself up. And here's how. Because by not sharing one moment in your life that was a bit impacting on you, by not sharing this, it makes the other person feel as either you're not serious or you're emotionally unavailable. And it hurts you because you don't know if they're the one who is not going to be the right person for you. Ultimately, are they compassionate? empathetic? Are they understanding? Are they caring? So you share your little story of what happened to you, and then they say, oh, really? That bothered you? I've seen this, A guy did this to a girl. She was sharing a moment that impacted her in high school. He just said, oh, I would have done that different. That would have never bothered me. You see, by sharing that was a test for him. By sharing that story, she was now able to see, oh, okay, so you're this type of person. You lack understanding, empathy. Now you see why I say it could impact you more in the end, because now you're just keeping everything so surface level. You don't know how this person truly is in times that are more meaningful, or topics that are more meaningful for you. So by just opening up a little, breaking down those barriers, just allowing them to come down just a little, it actually benefits you. I mean, it allows you to release as well, but it also allows you to see the other person differently. Will they be a good person for you long term? Do they have those components that you need? You're sharing your story, you want them to touch on you or to hug you. If you don't get that, well, then that's probably not the person for you. And this is why we need to go a little deep, guys. We can't forget to do that. We can't forget to tap into our feels. It's just a little. Okay? I don't want this to backfire on you in some way, because you're trying to play it safe always. All right? Hopefully I made that make sense. But these are some of the observations I have encountered for like maybe the past 2-3 years now. And it's becoming more apparent that guys are just not willing to step up as though they once did. And it's disheartening for me. I want to see my guys, I want to see that machoism and take the lead, but you got to do it right. It has to be done and executed properly. Okay? Always. Treat each individual differently based on what energy you're getting from them. Okay? And then you should be okay. All right, my loves, I thank you so much for joining me today. Be sure to check my Instagram and follow me on Twitter. I am here for you always. That is all for now, my loves. Until next time.